On the hottest days, a full feeder can sit untouched while the yard looks strangely empty. They may not be gone. They may be standing perfectly still where the yard is a few degrees easier. The first clue may be water that looks available but has become hot, low, or dry. To understand where they go, watch the yard from the bird's route, not from the porch. From a window or porch, the yard can look quiet in a way that feels confusing. Heat is not only in the air, it collects on stone, metal, bare soil, and open surfaces. A feeder can be full and still feel expensive to reach. One still bird can change the behavior of others nearby. A person may refill seed and still miss the clue that matters most on a hot afternoon. From above, the feeder looks close. From bird height, the safe path is broken. A still bird is not doing nothing. It may be saving every movement for a better moment. A slightly open beak can be one of the quiet signs that the heat is shaping the bird's choices. The smallest shade patch can change minute by minute. Different birds may answer the same heat by disappearing into different layers of cover. The empty yard is not always empty. It may simply be using its shade. Water helps most when birds can reach it without crossing the hottest, most exposed part of the yard. Even shallow water can become less useful when the basin sits in direct sun. Sometimes the cooler choice is not the obvious object, it is the shadow beside it. When birds disappear, many people check the seed first. A small move can change whether water feels reachable. Food can become less useful when the bird must spend too much energy reaching it. A bird may test the space with one short move, then stop. Metal, plastic, and dark surfaces can become part of the heat picture. Sometimes the choice is not to risk the easy food until conditions change. The yard may look abandoned because birds have moved their activity to the edges. Birds often do better when food is near escape cover, not pressed against danger or glare. A shaded route can matter more than a direct route. In hard sun, an open lawn can become a crossing. Birds delay as long as they can. In shade, birds may look calm, but their choices are still shaped by the heat outside. Look for the pattern: full food, dry water, hot route, hidden birds. As the day peaks, even small changes in shade can change the whole yard. The shade that helped earlier may become too small to hold the same bird comfortably. When the shade fails, the next choice is often not the feeder, it is the next cover. To a person, that movement may register only as one less bird in the yard. Inside cover, the same yard looks less like a yard and more like a set of choices. Shade does not remove the heat, but it can lower the cost of staying alive. Some birds move low, while others choose higher shaded branches where air and cover feel different. A favorite perch can change when it sits in direct sun. People often look where birds usually appear, not where heat has pushed them. The hottest part of the yard may be the most visible part. When the clue is understood, the helpful action becomes simpler and quieter. Fresh water in shade, even a small amount, can change how birds read the yard. The next helpful step is often distance. Even when the yard improves, birds may wait for the pattern to feel safe. The first return may be slow, low, and easy to miss. Birds often inspect a resource from the edge before committing. When the route, distance, and water finally line up, the bird can use less energy to meet a basic need. Even after using the water, the bird may return to cover immediately. Sometimes the only clue is what bird leaves behind. The goal is not to pull birds closer, it is to make the yard easier when they choose to come. On hot days, shade is not one thing. It moves, breaks, and sometimes disappears. Birds may move only a few feet, but that small move can mean cooler ground and less direct sun. Dry ground and curled leaves can reveal where the heat has been strongest. A messy-looking shaded edge can be more useful than a perfect open lawn. A yard can look clean to people but offer fewer cool pauses for birds. Heat often announces itself through stillness. On very hot days, birds may not use water in the way people expect. Watching from farther back may reveal more than approaching the birdbath again and again. Fresh water helps, but it does not erase the heat. The clue is not one object. It is the relationship between heat, water, food, cover, and distance. Hot days can change quickly, and birds may respond before people notice the shift. A moving feeder in hot wind can be another reason birds delay landing. Birds often choose lower, denser shelter when heat is joined by wind. Even fresh water can feel less usable if it is exposed to hard sun and gusts. The safest water often has a quiet edge nearby. A bird may wait through a gust rather than spend energy fighting it. When the gust drops, the same bird may move quickly through the safest gap. A normal human routine can accidentally close that tiny window. The person may never know the bird was 1 second away from using the water. Birds often respond to the pattern of a yard, not just the objects inside it. Later in the day, the same yard may begin to open again. The first test is often cautious, not sudden. Watch the body. Less open beak, less crouching, and more scanning can signal the pressure has eased. When one bird tests the route, others may watch the result. The same yard can be two different survival maps in one day. A feeder that was ignored at noon may become usable when shade reaches the approach. Even then, the visit may be short and watchful. Heat can also change food quality, especially if seed sits exposed for long periods. A cooler, cleaner, quieter setup gives birds more options. The best clue is not how full the feeder looks, but how birds can safely use it. On bright days, reflections can make a yard look more confusing from bird height. From a low branch, glass can turn into a false opening or a bright wall. From inside, the same window may look harmless or even invisible. Breaking up reflection can make the route easier to read. Birds may still use caution, but the route can become clearer. Shade, clean water, safer feeder access, and visible glass work best together. A safer yard lets birds choose distance. When conditions ease, activity can return in small, staggered moments. The tiny shade beside the bird bath was the first clue, not a random detail. On hot days, birds may be hidden by heat, route cost, dry water, exposed food, wind, reflection, and routine. Tomorrow, start by looking for where the shade is before you count the birds. Then look for body language, open beak, stillness, and wings held slightly away. If a bird pauses at the edge again and again, the open space may be the clue. If you miss the bird, look for ripples, droplets, or a moved leaf. On the hottest days, count the edges before you decide the yard is empty. The quietest hour may not tell the whole story of the day. A full object is not always a useful object. Birds also learn the rhythm of doors, footsteps, refills, and quiet. Bright glass can quietly change where birds choose to travel. Shade, body language, pauses, after signs, edges, time, condition, routine, and reflection all tell the story. Late in the day, the robin that hid in the tiny shade may return to the same place with a different yard around it. The same bird bath now offers water, shade, and a route back to cover. This is what a safer moment can look like. Brief, quiet, and chosen by the bird. After the drink, the safest choice may still be to return to cover. The quietest clue may be a ripple, a shadow, and a bird that chooses cover. A better yard may not look crowded. It may look quietly usable. The safest result is not birds trusting people. It is birds having choices. The tiny patch of shade was never just a shadow. The yard did not need to become perfect. It needed to become easier to read and easier to use. On the hottest days, do not only ask where the birds went, ask what the yard is asking them to cross. In your own yard, the first clue may be the place where birds stop before they vanish. Look low, under shrubs, under benches, beside bird baths, and along the shade line. Check whether water is fresh, shallow, shaded, and close enough to cover for a cautious bird. Check whether the feeder asks birds to cross a hot, open space. Watch the same spot at different hours, because a helpful morning setup can become a hot afternoon gap. Clean and refill during a quiet time, then give the yard back to the birds. A shaded shrub, a branch, or a quiet edge can be a survival stop between resources. After changes, the first sign may still be quiet. Then one tiny sign may appear. The hottest days are not just days with fewer birds. They are days with different clues. By evening, the yard may still be quiet, but it is no longer unexplained. The robin may still disappear, but now you know where to look and why it chose that place. The first patch of shade may be empty now, but it taught the whole story. The best help does not chase birds into view. It gives them safer choices. Shade, water, cover, clean food, visible glass, and quiet distance all work together. The next hot day, your yard may show you the same clues. Have you noticed fewer birds on very hot days? If you saw the yard go quiet, maybe the birds were still there, waiting in the shade. Have you noticed fewer birds on very hot days? What do they do in your yard when the heat gets strong? The next time your yard goes quiet in the heat, look for the shade, the water, the root, and the clue the bird left behind.